Shimano recently launched its first 105 Di2 group set, but is it any good for a gravel bike? Let's find out. Gravel bikes are quite capable machines and people use them in many different ways. That leads some people fitting road components to their gravel bikes, and if that suits your needs, then well, that's fine with us. But what about using a road group set on a gravel bike? As soon as Shimano's electronic Di2 gears were introduced back in, 2009, there were fears that the group set would fall to pieces at the mere sight of a bit of mud and water. But Dura-Ace quickly gained popularity among the pro peloton and cyclocross riders. They put it to the ultimate test with a combination of mud, sand, snow and jet washes. It survived, and Di2 has been perfectly happy to tough it out in the harshest conditions ever since. The latest 105 Di2 is no different, surviving Dave's rigorous testing as part of his Oro Terra C review, which will be on the site very soon. In fact, we find that Di2 is absolutely brilliant in the muddiest conditions, as the motor is pushing the derailleur both directions, rather than just relying on spring tension as you would get with a mechanical derailleur. So we'd have no second thought about using this group set in typical gravel conditions. One thing that we would say, however, and this is a complaint to level at all of Shimano's 12-speed Di2 road group sets, is that the brains of the system are housed in the rear derailleur. Essentially, Shimano has made the new rear derailleur the control center for the new group set, packing the shift signal receiver, Bluetooth communicator and a few other bits into the derailleur body. This then connects via a wire to the battery and then runs to the front mech. But rear derailleurs have always been an exposed part of the bicycle, and they are generally the first to take a bit of a hit in a crash. So what's the problem? With all of the brains in the system being packed into the rear derailleur, it has become the most expensive component within the group set. That means that if you slide out in a corner, come down in a sprint finish, or simply get ridden into by another rider, you could have a very expensive repair bill. We do wonder why the clever bits weren't simply bolted onto the battery, which are, these days, hidden away inside the frame or seat post. Anyway, if you whack a rear derailleur, do be prepared for it to be a very costly day on the bike. There is another slight potential issue that you might run into if you decided to slap this group set onto your gravel bike, and that is that it might not actually fit. Take a gravel bike like the Specialized Crux. It isn't unique in being designed to accept only certain chain sets, and there's a very good reason for that. The Crux actually uses a solid section in the drive side chainstay to maximize tire clearance, which adds versatility to the bike. Doing this means that there is a limit to the size and position of the chainrings that you can use. For 2x systems, you might need to use a gravel-specific chain set, as these are spaced wider and come with smaller chainrings. As the 105 chain set is only available in a 50-34 combination, it might not fit. So check with the frameset manufacturer before you go buying this group set. One key feature that you won't get on the new 105 Di2 derailleur is a clutch system. This is something that you'll find on Shimano's gravel and mountain bike rear derailleurs, and they're very useful for limiting chain slap. Aside from the noise reduction, preventing chain slap can also help to protect your poor chainstay from damage, and it is said to reduce the likelihood of a dropped chain. Really though, the deciding factor will be whether the gearing is suitable for the riding that you want to do. Gravel bikes generally come equipped with some very easy gearing to help you ride up steep slopes on loose surfaces. Take that Crux. On it, you'll find a 10-44 tooth cassette and a 40 tooth chainring. The easiest gear that it creates is a 25.44 inch, while the largest is a 111.81 inch. If you installed Shimano's 105 Di2 system with the 11-36 tooth cassette and the 50-34 tooth chain set, you'd have an easiest gear of 26.28 inches and a hardest gear of 127.19 inches. Okay, if you haven't nodded off, that means that the gravel group set on the Crux is going to have a much easier gear to turn while you try to pick your way up a technical climb that has always given you trouble. At the other end, on the Shimano system, you're getting a much bigger harness gear, which will allow you to go faster when the situation allows. So which one is best for you? Well, that largely depends on the riding that you are intending to do. If you plan on riding some very chunky gravel with steep technical climbs and tracks that aren't that fast, then you're going to be better off with a gravel specific group set. Dave says that the 105 Di2 system would really benefit from a subcompact chainset offering, though we're unlikely to ever see one. But if your gravel riding takes place on large gravel fire roads like Salisbury Plain behind me, or you've got a lot of road riding to do to take in your gravel, then 105 Di2 with the relatively close spacing on the cassette is going to give you the top end gears and small cadence changes that you'll want. So, would we go out and buy Shimano's 105 Di2 group set for a gravel bike? For an all-road bike, it'd be perfect, but due to the lack of truly low gears, we'd probably stick with GRX for an adventure gravel machine. Now, if you want more gravelly goodness, then there is a full playlist of gravel videos popping up on your screen right now. Remember to like and subscribe before you go, and we will see you in the next one.